Moses. I'm not living by horoscopes. Paul says, I live by faith. And then I discovered sometimes when we have been on this journey for some time, we seem to lose track of that. And we begin to use our physical sight. That's why Paul said we walk by faith, not by sight. Because our physical sight can hinder the power of faith in our lives. Must use a spiritual trait in order to activate faith. And so when we allow our sight to step in, and then we start living by other means other than faith. That's why I say we don't live by chance, but there are some Christians that live by chance. Can't wait to get enough money to go pull the slots. Can't wait till football season to start a pool. Can't wait until it's an off Sunday so they can go party. Fifth Sunday. When there's a fifth Sunday, they won't go do some other things. Can't wait till the Saints start so they can get season tickets. And so we find this text, for we walk by faith, in the lives of some believers become a cliche. They say it, but they don't mean it. And then there's another side to faith. When you look at Reverend James in the 2nd chapter, James said there's a faith without good works. And so they can say they walk by faith, but their works give them away. And Reverend James will tell you that faith without works is a dead faith. Come on, somebody. And so that says that my faith should be living. My faith should have some good works. It has works attached to it. I don't just say one thing. And another thing about faith, let me share with you. Faith has a language. The language of faith is prayer. Now let's make the connection. Prayer without works is unanswered prayer. Because you can pray for a wife, pray for a husband, but if you don't do your part and start dating, guess what's going to happen? You'll never meet Mr. or Ms. Right. You can pray for a job, but if you don't get up and go look, you'll never get a job. And so faith has works. And when faith has works attached to it, that's our turn to do our part. God saved me. He built a relationship with me. But what's my part? My part is the fellowship. Communicate. And then act out on my communication. Paul says we live by faith. And whenever a Christian fails to live by these priorities, they struggle in life and experience the same thing a non-believer experiences. Paul says we live by faith, not by sight. Now, this second half of this text is difficult in this day and time, I must admit, because we living in an age where there's always visual things before us. We see all kind of visuality. It's on billboards, computers, even pop up in the phones. And so here, the sight Sight, physical sight, although important to life, when it comes to me being what God designed for me to be in his will and destiny, physical sight can impede my progress. I always describe destiny like this. Destiny is a merry-go-round. It spins around. Now, your fate comes into play, if his fate would work, is when the right point hit the right place, jump on. Now, if your fate have no works, you're going to miss it. And a lot of us miss stepping into destiny because it spent around and we didn't move. Now, the thing about destiny in the spirit, it don't move as fast as the merry-go-round. So when you miss it this time, it may take years to catch back up with it. Trying to help somebody here, even though I'm helping myself too. And so physical sight has no part in faith. Now watch this, because God still uses our physical sense. As a matter of fact, he don't use our sight for faith, but I have to use my ears. The word says faith comes how? By hearing, and that is hearing the word of God. And that lets me know that my faith must be developed. It must grow. And that growth and development hinges on the word I hear. Now, the dangerous thing about hearing is this. Because God created us the way he did, where hearing affects us. Sight affects us. The wrong message can mess us up. And see, that brings to light something else about faith. Faith is not just belief in anything, but it's belief in divine truths. Rightly divided words of God. And there are many saints that I know. I work with some that get the wrong message on Sundays and messed up. Warped. And so I must let faith take its place. And so as I come to a close, Paul says we live by faith, not by sight. That's important because we need faith in these days and time. And I need to tell you that the theme, we've come this far by faith, must leave from the anthem of a song and become an heirloom. That is, it must be handed down to the younger generation. Because I find that while we are in the Lord's house, learning how to walk by faith, the world is teaching our children how to walk by sight. And I find that it becomes difficult because the devil uses a lot of imagery. And sight tells them that life is about fast cars and half-naked women. But actually life is the complete opposite. But they'll never know as long as we keep keeping our secrets of faith to ourselves. I'm trying to tell you that it's time to share the secrets of success. Because the devil has a plan to try and kill the church. And his plan is to kill it through the children. And when you look at the tents that are in church today, there are tents that are of age. There are tents with experience. And that lets me know that one day your tent gonna fold. And when your tent fold, where's the next tent to take your place? You need to share these words of encouragement with our youth. Because our youth needs to know how to make it. I try as best I can to share the secrets of life with my children. Because my children see that the bills are being paid. They see food being put on the table. My children seeing me get automobile after automobile. But what they don't see is how long I'll be on my knees, praying to the Lord, asking him to stretch my small income, asking the Lord to give me strength and peace of mind, asking the Lord to strengthen me while I'm on my job, asking the Lord to keep my tongue so I won't cuss nobody out, asking the Lord to strengthen me in my spirit, asking the Lord to wake me up with your power and let your spirit drain and trickle down in my thoughts, asking the Lord to give me words to share with them, that when they come of age in their own adulthood, they'll know how to make it by faith. They'll know that it wasn't the income, because daddy don't make that much. They'll know that it wasn't the insight of his natural resources, because daddy mind don't think that good. As a matter of fact, daddy used to be a drug addict. Daddy used to expand his mind with LSD. Daddy used to drink alcohol all day and all night. Daddy used to get picked up in the French Quarter because he passed out and a neighbor seen him. So it had to be God that touched my father, that touched his mind, and that same mind that used to expand on drugs, he used to expand his word. He feeds my mind. He feeds my spirit. And I'm looking at my life. It's not over yet. I might be sick. I might be weak. But God has a better plan for me. God has a destiny for me. The Lord said, if you continue in my word and put me first, there'll be a time when you'll proclaim my word, and men and women will hear and give their life to me. Isn't that wonderful? God has the power. My power is weak. My power is limited. But God has all power. God can raise you when you feel sick. And God can give you power to preach when you feel faint. I'm trying to help somebody. I'm trying to help somebody. We cheat ourselves. I'm going to say this and I'm going to sit down. I discovered in my own experience that my own neglectfulness robs me. And see, and we don't share that. And as I look at the church today, I'm convicted. I feel burdened because I see a lot of believers with experience, but they don't share how they get there. And so it sets up a front to the youth that you always been where you at. And sometimes in our